Hi everybody, it's Spring with Soaps and Suds and such, and today what have I been up to? Well, I've been making butterflies out of soap. I'll show them to you. Well, if I can get them in the camera. These here, right here, are cut out. I cut these out. And I'll show you how I do that. But you can see that one. I hope I've got it in the view. And then these over here have been piped. And you can pipe these whole, or you can pipe them in halves. I've got mine in halves. If you can see, there's a little wing. And I'll be using these in a soap that I'm getting ready to make pretty soon. And see, here's one that's been cut, that I've cut out. This is a half of a wing, and this is the other half. And I'm going to show you how I go about this, but they turn out really pretty. I'm really happy with them. So what you're going to need, or what I use, need a knife. Now I do use a razor blade, but you might not want to do that. Let's see. Gonna need some soap. This soap is very moisturizing and very soft, so it's very easy to just slice right through. You know, like take a knife like this and just slice your slices. And I've got some already done here that I pre-sliced. And then I've got some over here. I will show you. Whoops. Right here. If you can see those. These right here, I have got pre-cut, some whole, and others are like the wings half. Now, I do paint these, and I'll show you how to do that. So you're going to need some paint brushes, which I have right over here, quite a few, and like I said, soap. So I've got a lot of soap. And then to make it easier on you, now you don't have to, if you can handle yourself with a knife good, then you wouldn't have to use these, but you can draw yourself like something to trace around with a knife or a razor blade or whatever you're comfortable with using. Normally I would use like one of the cutting tools that's actually got a little razor blade that comes out of one end, but I can't find mine, so right now I'm having to use a knife. We moved and everything's lost, but you know, you just basically, I'm going to show you how to use these. Now you don't have to, like I said, you can just carve the soap. Okay, now get on my glasses. But I've got, as you can see, I've got my piece cut here. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to do it with where I've drawed a butterfly and cut it out. Now, if you are good at, you know, using knives or whatever, then you can just carve them, basically. And I think I want that one to have a pink wing and an orange wing. So, you can either use a knife and go right around it, just hold it on there, go right around it like so, cutting away the excess, which we will not waste. I make soap balls, or you can use the handy dandy razor blade, and that's what I prefer to do if I'm going to do it without my little thing that I like to use. Now, if I'm carving it, sometimes I'd rather use a knife, but since I'm tracing this that I've drawn, then I'm going to use the razor blade and just cut it around it. You just cut around your figure. And I may do some dragonflies. I would like to have some, but they're a bit more tedious. And I would have had more piped butterflies had my soap not really acted up on me today, and it really acted up on me badly. it got hard as a rock quick. So I only got the 4 butterflies actually piped before it got so hard that I could not pipe butterflies anymore, because when you're piping the butterflies, you know, you're using pretty small openings, and your soap can't be too thick, but it can't be too thin. And I will show you how I'm going to be using these in a future video, because I'm going to be actually making soap and using these butterflies on that soap. And whenever it comes to that, I lost a little corner right there, but yeah, it'll still work. I'm not too picky. As long as I'm happy with them, that's all that counts to me. They're not perfect, just like my piping of anything, or flowers or whatever. They're not perfect, but as long as I'm happy with them, that's all that matters. Okay, so there we have a butterfly. Now this one in the center was wanting to crack, so we can either cut it in half or we can try to mold it. This one's going to come in half. So I'm going to try to even up the way that I want it, just by taking off little bits here and there to get it shaped the way I want it to be shaped. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Just kind of straightening it up. And every now and then you'll have them where they will break in the middle. That's fine. You can use them that way just as well as using them if they're whole. But I just want to even this off a little bit here, because when you put it on your soap, it's going to be like laying, kind of. And I'm not too happy with that right there. Okay. And both sides do not have to be completely the same. I mean, you know, I'm not perfect. No one is, so I don't worry about it as long as they look nice. And we will be painting them. I'll show you how I do that. To get your blacks on there and colors other than the color of whatever you choose for your soap to use. Now I do love using the piped ones also. I think they're beautiful, but they are tedious to pipe. If you don't have your soap just right, then you're going to have a more difficult time piping them. And I used a different recipe because I'm waiting on orders for some of my oils that I don't have, that I need desperately, the ones I normally would use for this recipe. So I just do it about like that right there. I think that looks good, if you can see. This one's off a little bit, but you know, I like it the way it is. I'm going to take just a tap bit right there, and it doesn't matter if it's perfect, but it is off quite a bit. Let's see where we broke. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to make this side, see what it is it did not break in the center. So I'm going to take off some of that for one. It broke kind of crooked on me. So we've got a pretty wing and a not so pretty wing there. But we've got several over here that's the same way, so it doesn't really matter. I mean, you can leave them that way, or I may fit it with one of the others. Okay. Or actually, I could You can use like one wing to make another wing, like say that wing, and I could trace around it. Let's see, let's do that and see what we come out with. I have to get it where I can see it because I am sitting down, and as you can see I am using my stone block here to cut on. You wouldn't want to cut on like your table or your counter with a razor blade or a knife. So this chop block is actually one that I have for, especially for anything to do with soap related or making my products. Then I have another one that's for cooking. So I'll clear that off here in a sec. Okay, let's see. You do have to be careful with razor blades. I mean, I'm just being honest. They will slice you open in a heartbeat. I love soap carving. I think it's a lot of fun. If I could wood burn it, I probably would, just to be honest with you. I love wood burning. Okay, that's closer. You got a thick one and a thin one. Now, okay, this is pretty thick all the way through here. So let's do one on it, and I have another type of butterfly here. Kind of the shape's off a little bit different than the other one. Okay, find these sides. And you know, if you can cut this any better to where it's more even, that's wonderful. Like it, say you had a soap cutter, then you could get a good smooth cut on your bar. But that would make it probably a whole lot nicer a piece. But if you can see, I'm doing all this by hand. But I love doing soap, anything to do with soap related. I absolutely love my soaping. And I love making my creams, lotions, lip balms, you name it. Anything to do with herbs or natural. And then I also love my colors. But you're just going to go right around there like that. Now, I prefer to just sit down and do a lot of them just by carving them. I always loved to draw butterflies when I was younger and in school. And flowers. And now I love piping flowers. I absolutely adore it. I spent like 4 hours the other day just piping flowers. Okay, there we got a whole one, but we'll want to clean it up. You can see it's a little rough on this side. And I just take my razor blade and I'm just going to run it right down through here like so, and clean up these edges just a little bit. And I am going to show you how to paint them, and or how I paint them. Now, a lot of people, you know, might use different methods. I've used several methods, but you can use like melt and pour, clear melt and pour to do it. But don't always have melt and pour. I'm bad to not have it because I make my own soap. I mean, I could make my own melt pour, but so I just basically do my own thing, which I always do my own thing. I don't like to copy other people and have my stuff exactly like everybody else's. I just do my own thing. Just like my flowers, they may not be perfect. My roses are not perfect. None of them are perfect, but neither am I, so they look good to me, and that's all that matters. Okay. And there you have it. A butterfly.